soon, unexpected return.
A sudden ending, soon unexpected return.
Think about this. Let's go to Revelation chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. John said, I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. Come up here. Immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, one sitting on the throne. Wait a minute. He looked, and behold, and a door was standing open in heaven. Where was John? He was on the Isle of Patmos, wasn't he? Right? Wasn't he? And then, as he looked and he heard a voice say, come up here. And then what? Suddenly, where was he? In heaven. And he said, I saw one sitting on the throne. Where people get 3 from? Where people get 2 from? Don't it say 1? You see? 1. Think about this. Y'all student track meets and you probably ran some track yourself, right?
Yep.
And depending on what race you were running, you would pick your spot where you was gonna give it your all, where you was gonna make your final push, didn't you? But think about this. What would a race be like if you could end at any stage? Would people run?
Nope.
Would the race even begin? No, because somebody would be smart enough to say, I'm finished, wouldn't they?
Right, as soon as they just took a step. Finished.
So think about this. Wherever and whenever the call comes is where you will end. You see that? Why? Because we got to be alert and expect the unexpected. Why? Because we don't know when it's going to end, do we? Since this coronavirus has been traveling all over the world, and especially in the United States, guess what? A whole lot of pastors have died. But it ain't being reported though, is it?
Right.
Think about this. This lesson is not really talking about focusing on physical death, but it's focusing on running the race and about the what? The sudden ending. What is the sudden ending? See, while the world may be working on this disease or this happening or that happening, all in the midst of that, the shy is subject to show up, isn't it? And when can it happen? When the Father says so, right? So it can happen at any time, suddenly. See? So let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Let's look at verse 32. We'll start at verse 32 and go to verse 44. Now learn the parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So you too, when you see all these things, recognize that he is near. Talking about Yeshua, right at the door. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass until these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father alone. For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they did not understand until the flood came and took them away. So will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then there will be two men in the field. One will be taken, one will be left. Two women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken, one will be left. Therefore, be on the alert, for you do not know which day the Messiah is coming. But be sure this, that if the head of the house had known at what time of the night the thief was coming, he would have been on the alert and would not have allowed his house to be broken into. For this reason, you also must be ready. For the Son of Man is coming at an hour when you do not think he will. Now, in various organizations that we've been in, they always tell us, especially in the military, they told us, you can never be ready, but you can be prepared. But what is the scripture telling us? To be ready. But to be ready, you got to prepare, don't you? Yeah. Another thing I want to point out in this scripture is they did not understand
how to be prepared.
And if you go to Corinthians, and you probably know this story, but I want to just focus on something because I'm not dealing with what their topic was, but just one thing about it. You remember the man that was doing fornication in the church in Corinth, right? And Paul got on to him about it. And they said, you know what? This ain't even happened in all the nations, that a man could have his father's wife. Now, when you look at that, what he said was what? The person doing the act did not understand what he was doing to himself and to the congregation, and the congregation did not understand what the person was doing to them.
He was lying.
Because they thought it was all right. Because they didn't say nothing to him. See, this is why when people in our midst do something wrong, we tell them, that's wrong. It's up to them to change. You see what I'm saying? We can't change them, but we give them the understanding of what they did is wrong. Now it's up to them to correct their actions. Now let's go back to the lesson. No one knows the day nor the hour. So Matthew 24 and verse 44 say, so you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. He's going to just show up when you ain't ready. Remember we used to play hide and go seek, and the person doing the count and say, ready or not?
Here I come.
Here I come. Unexpectedly, he just going to show up. He going to crack the sky, ain't he? Mm-hmm. Think about it. He said it more than once, didn't he? See, You cannot pinpoint a date because you're going to always be wrong, because he said nobody don't know but the Father. He said, I don't even know. He said, he coming at an hour when you don't think he will. So everybody that's trying to set years, months, and days for when he return, let them alone, because they don't know. They showing how ignorant they are. They showing that they don't even believe what Yeshaya said, aren't they? Think about it. Every generation has expected him to return in their lifetime. Even his apostles did. See? Think about it. Them first century churches, you know how they greeted each other when they came into contact with each other? They didn't holler, I'm blessed. They said, Maranatha. Our Messiah comes. Y'all see that? That's how they greeted each other. People got away from it, haven't they? Because
any kind of meat.
He hasn't came yet, haven't he? But they was keeping it fresh in their mind, wasn't it?
I can digest chicken.
They wasn't doing it once a week. They did it every time they saw somebody. They said, Maranatha. Because he coming, we just don't know when. Think about this. Even the Apostle Paul thought Yeshaya was going to return in his lifetime. Look at what he said to the Thessalonians in 1 Thessalonians 4:16. He says, For Yeshaya himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Ahia, and the dead in Messiah will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet Yeshaya in the air. So we will be with Yeshaya forever.
To be honest,
let's go to chapter 1, look at verses 9 and 10. But they themselves report how you return to Ahia from idols to serve a living and true Ish Elohim, and wait for his son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead. That is Yeshaya, who rescues us from what? The wrath to come. See, Ebola is still going on. Corona is going on. Something else going to be going on. It's going to keep getting piled on. But what does our job do? He said, when you see these things coming, he said, look up, for your Redeemer draweth nigh. See, because he's been tearing, he's been delaying. Matthew chapter 24, verse 48 say, this is the parable of the faithful and the wicked servant. He says, my master is staying away a long time. That's just the gist of it. And then when you look at the parable of the talents in Matthew 25 and 14, it says, well, the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country. After a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And then look at the parable of the 10 virgins. We all know it in Matthew 25, 1 through 6. He said, then the kingdom of heaven will be compared to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. Now while the bridegroom was delaying, they all went to sleep. But at midnight there was a shout, behold, the bridegroom cometh. Bridegroom, behold the bridegroom, come out to meet him. See, and what happened? was a sudden thing. Wake him up out of sleep, so that if your lamp wasn't ready, you was what? Lost. See? He came at a time when they didn't expect him to come. He came at midnight and they were sleeping. Let me say something. We got to make sure we always say what the scriptures say about Yeshua. If the scripture tells us, the scripture does tell us that Yeshua was without sin. You can't go to the wedding feast and say he was disobedient to his mother. Because the scripture does not say he was disobedient to his mother. All he said to her was, woman, what do I have to do with the children?
But the tomato sauce is actually
And what did she say?
Sweet too.
Whatever he tells you to do it, do it. Isn't that what she said? She didn't get on him and say, why you being disobedient, bitch? Because you know how mamas is. What did we start off with? Learn the lesson of the fig tree. And know that he on his way. One fig tree, he cursed it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Why? It didn't have no fruit on it. Matthew 21, verses 18 through 22. See, he was not just getting annoyed at an unfaithful fig tree, but it spoke what? Of the nation of Israel. Unfruitful. It had no fruit. Let's look at Romans chapter 11. Can y'all go there with me? Romans chapter 11. Let's look at verse 26. And he says, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away the ungodliness from Jacob. This is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. Now what you need to understand, when they say all Israel, it don't mean every single person that belongs to Israel. It means the nation, don't it? Peoples, not every single person. Don't get it confused. Okay? You see, and people think Israel came to be a nation in 1948. It didn't. That's what the world says. Oops. So when the time comes, the end comes suddenly. We're focusing on sudden. Yeshua is going to suddenly appear. Just like Corona suddenly appeared and then everything was shut down, wasn't it? Okay. Think about it. Remember in Luke chapter 2, verses 8 and then 13 through 14? Let's look at some shepherds. Some shepherds was in the field, and there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising Ahia and saying, "Glory to Ahia in the highest, and on earth peace to men on whom his favor rests." Do you think these shepherds was ever the same again? Can you imagine what they thought when they saw what they saw? Because everybody didn't see that, did it? This is the night when Yeshua was born. Who did a great company from heaven come to see? The shepherds. It wasn't no wise men in that field. So the only people that was there at his birth was the shepherds and the angels. Isn't that right? Come on. Let's look at the disciples right quick. Acts chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. And when the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly, a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. So what was they in the upper room doing? They was praying, right? They was sitting, they was waiting. And then what? Suddenly, everything changed. They were what? Filled with his spirit. And they was what? Transformed, wasn't it? Just like when we got it. Suddenly, it just shows up, boom, there it is. Look at Saul. Acts chapter 9, the first 3 verses. Meanwhile, Saul was breathing out murderous threats against Yeshua's disciples. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. Suddenly. The greatest step, the greatest threat to his believers became their greatest asset, didn't he? And he was changed on the road to Damascus, wasn't he? Let's look at some believers. In Mark chapter 13, verses 35 through 37, he says, "Watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming. Least coming suddenly, he find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all, watch." So what we're supposed to be doing? Watching, seeing what's going on in the world, isn't that right? Because his return is going to be great. It's going to be suddenly. It's going to happen. And the change gonna take place, and they know repenting of it.
For everyone to see.
So if you're ready, you'll go. If you're not ready, you won't go. What about the unbelievers? Because it's something gonna happen for them too, ain't it? 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3 verses says, "Now, brothers, you know very well that the day of Yeshua will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly, as labor pains on a pregnant woman. They will not escape. So the day of Yeshua will come suddenly upon unbelievers. They will be expecting one thing, peace and safety, and will receive another, destruction." Then if we keep on reading in Matthew 24, drop down to verse 36, and we'll go through 39, and it says, "But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father alone. For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they did not understand until the flood came and took them all away. So will the coming of the Son of Man be? You see how important it is to understand? Well, Yeshua said that his return is going to be like it was in the day of Noah. What do we know about those days? It was a time of wickedness, violence. There was Nephilim, the giants in the land. There was fallen angels in the land trying to conquer the human race, wasn't it? Just like it is today. People had hard heart. They resisted the message that came through Noah. But think about this. What did he say they was doing? He said they was what? Drinking. They was getting married. They was giving in marriage. You see what I'm saying? But we were having a good time. Wasn't it? Because when you married and giving in marriage, you drinking, laughing, joking, having a good time, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 17, verse 28 through 30. Then he talks about Lot, didn't he? He says, it was the same in the days of Lot. People were eating and drinking, buying and selling, planting and building. But the day Lot left Sodom, fire and sulfur rained down from heaven and destroyed them all. It will be just like this on the day the Son of Man is revealed. Life will be going on as usual. Eating, drinking, marrying, buying, selling, planting, building. That's what it will be like when Yeshua returns. So what is he emphasizing? He's emphasizing life will be as normal. People didn't have no idea in the days of Noah the judgment was coming. So they went about their merry way, doing what they seemed right in their own eyes. You see?
People be like, we don't do that.
You ain't playing no games with us. Is it? So we got to be ready because the Son of Man will come at an hour when we don't expect him. Nobody's getting the point. See, this is warning and people are not paying attention. See, the question could be, do you really expect him to come today? My answer would be, why not? I don't know if he's coming today, just know he's coming. Some people probably hoping he don't come today. Let's look at it. Let's look at Revelation chapter 4, first 2 verses. We started with this. After these things, John says, I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me. Come up here. I will show you what must take place after these things. Immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was in heaven, one sitting on the throne. Y'all see that? So what did John see? John saw what? Heaven open. Think about this. When you read Revelation, you see that heaven is open only twice in the book of Revelation. First time we see what? Revelation 19 and 11. And it says, and our John saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he who sat on it was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he judges and wages war. And then what he said? Then Revelation, let's go to Revelation chapter 3. Revelation chapter 3. Revelation chapter 3, and verse 20. Revelation 3 and 20. He said, what? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice, open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. So if we want to be part, what we got to do first is open up our heart to the Most High. Ain't that right?
That's right.
Let's go to chapter 1 of Revelation.
Huh?
Let's start at verse 12. It says, John says, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were like wool, and as white as snow. And his eyes was a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they were burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars. Out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shining in his strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the olive and the tar. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. I have the keys of hell and death. Write these things which you have seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. The mystery of the 7 stars which you saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks, these 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which you saw are the 7 churches. Why did I say the olive and the tar and not the first and the last? Because he didn't speak English, did he? He spoke Hebrew, didn't he? So olive and tar is the beginning and then the end, the first and the last. He didn't say Alpha and Omega because he didn't speak Greek to him. So suddenly, there was John before the throne. And what happened to John is where? This is what the saints is going to experience. Suddenly, isn't it? No matter where you are, you ain't got to come to him. He calling you. And the one that's ready is going. He said it'll be two here and two doing this and two doing that. He said one gonna be taken, one gonna be left. Cause one was ready and the other one wasn't. You see? Revelation chapter 4, verse 3. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow around the throne in sight like an emerald. You see? So think about it. So the Hebrew mind would have thought of that jasper stone and the sardine stone as the first and the last stone on the breastplate of the high priest. Exodus chapter 28, 17 through 21. And you shall put settings of stones in it, 4 rows of stone. The first row shall be sardis, a topaz, and an emerald. This shall be the first row. The second row will be turquoise, sapphire, and a diamond. The third row, jacinth, agate, amethyst. And the fourth row, beryl, onyx, and jasper. They shall be set in gold settings. There are to be 12 stones, one with each of the names of the sons of Israel, each engraved like a seal with the name of one of the 12 tribes. So sawdust stone is red. Okay, we don't call it sawdust today, we call it a ruby. And that was the first stone in the blessed plate. And it stood for who? Reuben, the firstborn of Jacob. And the jasper was a clear. And it looked like a diamond. But it was the last stone in the breastplate. And it represented Benjamin. Because he was the last son.
Boom, baby.
See? Think about this. Why did he choose those 2 stones? Because Reuben's name means behold a son. And Benjamin's name means son of my right hand. Get it? Behold my son, the son of my right hand. He's sitting where? On my right hand. It's always talking about Yeshua. It always points you to Messiah. So, I know people teach you that there is no rapture because it's not in the scripture. That's true. The word is not in the scripture. But guess what's there? The definition of the word is in the scripture.
Because they took it out. That's why the definition there.
So if you have the definition, if you're not, totally ignorant, you can figure it out. Mm-hmm. I can say the word or I can say the definition. Does it make a difference?
Nope.
So I just say the not song, the catching up. It's going to suddenly happen.
And to be honest, it was in Hebrew anyways. So technically they didn't have
the word there.
It's
going to be a snatching up. It's going to happen suddenly. And it's only going to happen to them that are ready, whether they are dead or alive. But the ones that are alive are going to get changed first. And then get caught up. It's going to happen real quick. You see? We need to watch. We need to be careful. We need to make sure our heart is right and our mind is always on Him. Maybe we need to start greeting with Maranatha. That he coming. He comes. Messiah is coming. Maranatha. Maybe we need to start bringing back that saying to our minds and to our heart to remind us that he coming. Because he coming when we are not expecting him to come. He don't want to get us, he don't want you to get caught in the tent of the wicked. What is he saying? Temptation is going to be more and more on you because you are his. Trying to catch you off guard. We got to be mindful of sleepiness. Remember the 10 virgins? They fell asleep waiting for the bridegroom. What are they talking about? Don't get drowsy in your spiritual life. Do you still care about spiritual matters? Do you still care? Do you care enough when you see somebody do something wrong? Will you tell them? Even if they get mad at you and don't talk to you for a while. How much do we love him? Think about it. We don't let people trample on this stuff. We ain't gonna let people lie on him. No, you're lying. He was without sin. If he wasn't without sin, he could not be the Savior. He could not be our Passover. Him who knew no sin. So when you say that he did something wrong,
At least.
you calling him a liar, meaning that you are a liar and you are after your father, the devil, meaning you got a spirit of Antichrist.
At least.
Because that's what you're following. That's the fruit you bearing. It's rotten, it stink.
Smell like ass and booty. What?
Think about this. Passover came and now it's feast of unleavened bread over. Didn't it come suddenly? Didn't it come swiftly? Is he and gone? Job said, now my days are swifter than a runner. They flee away, they see no good. Then he says, in the 14th chapter, he says, a man who is born a woman is short-lived and full of turmoil. Like a flower, he comes forth and withers. He also flees like a shadow and does not remain. The first verse was, the first one I said was Job 9:25, and the second one was Job 14 verses 1 and 2. Then James 4 and 14 say, why you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while, then vanishes. Then Psalm 144 and 4 says, man is like a breath. His days are like a fleeting shadow. Then 1 Peter 1:24 says, but all men are like grass, and all their glory is like the flowers of the field. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of Yeshua stands forever. And then Psalms 39, 4 and 5, it says, Ahia, make me to know my end, and what is the extent of my days. Let me know how transient I am. Behold, you have many. You have made my days as handbreadths, and my lifetime as nothing in your sight. Surely every man at his best is a mere breath. Shalom.
This session is no longer being recorded.
Okay. Talk to me.
Unmuted. Muted. Unmuted.
Okay, just try that again.
Yeah, talk to me, Philip.
Does computer kept it was weird. Computer kept muting myself. No, my computer was muting me. It was weird. It was sat. It was like,
Okay.
but to be honest, this is very plain, straightforward. It's like it's telling you that you should be doing some things, and you don't want to get not taken up. And I think the reasons why they took the I think they took the not the meaning. I think they took the actual word out because it was in Hebrew, and they wanted to put the meaning of it in the scriptures. To be honest, and it still means the same thing. You're right. It still means exactly the same thing. So even if people say it's not in the word, the meaning's in there, the definition. So technically, it's still the same thing.
Exactly, because when we was in school, then they put the word on one side, definition on the other side, and you had to draw the line to the definition or the definition to the word, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Showing you, okay, you know what this word means, so you can use either one you want it.
But one thing, I don't know what you said, but it was mainly like the people that were trying. Hello? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I just heard something. I didn't know what it was. I just like saying the first thing is I'm still trying to figure out is why people don't believe the scriptures is real. I mean, what it's saying is real. I mean, yes, some of it has been taken out, but still, it's the main.
Think about this.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you a short answer. When you have the love for the truth, you don't have a problem. If you've been born again, you don't have a problem. If you've been filled with His Spirit, you don't have a problem. See, our job ain't to figure out why people won't believe. You see, our job is to save ourselves from this untoward generation. Our job is to study to show our self-approval unto a higher, a workman that need not be ashamed, and in dividing the word of truth. Our job is to live holy each and every day, to stay on the straight and narrow, to stay on the street called straight. That's our job. Jerry.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
Okay.
Muted.
So what? If you're not saved, if you're not living right, it's scary. Because, I mean, if people really would sit down and read and understand that this, when Yeshua comes, he comes, like you said, suddenly, without warning. It's just gonna happen. No, you're not gonna, like you said, you don't know the day nor the hour. Nobody knows but the Father. And all the things that He's saying in the last days, is happening right now. Okay, the earthquake, the plagues, the famines, and all the other stuff, that's happening now. And if people would just read the word, or tell people, like right now, this thing, it came, like you said, it came suddenly, without warning. Or I'll put it like this, it did come suddenly, it was without warning. Nobody knows how, where, when, they really don't know. They're speculating, they're assuming, they're assuming a whole lot. And I know that in spite of everything, it's not, it's a warning, like you said, it's a warning. It's a warning for those that call themselves saints of the Most High, if you ain't, get it together. If you don't have it together, get it together. You calling yourself saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Spirit, but if you ain't acting right, get it together. This is a warning. And it ain't, it's like he ain't playing, but do you blame him? Look at this world. This world is so wicked. It's perverse. It's just wicked. It's evil. So much going on, but that's what he said was going to happen. Same thing that happened in the days of Noah. But I ain't gonna say it's worse because I don't know how it was then. Like he said, ain't nothing new under the sun. So it means that, what they was doing back in the day of Noah, they doing now.
And he used Noah and he used Lot.
Right. And this is not no joke. It ain't funny. And all I want to do, I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to be left behind.
No, you don't. Oh, no.
I want to go when he comes. I want to go with him. I don't want to be left here.
No.
That's right.
Don't. That is. So you have to start greeting each other with Maranatha, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maranatha, what that mean?
In English, it means the Lord comes.
Oh. Maranatha.
It means what?
The Lord comes.
The Lord comes, okay.
So, Yeshua comes.
Yeah. But he coming.
He coming. That's how they used to greet each other. They didn't holler, I'm blessed, and all that. No, they holler Maranatha.
Unmuted.
You say Maranatha? What?
Maranatha.
Oh, Maranatha.
Mm-hmm. He coming. He coming. So you don't know when he coming, you say he comes. You see what I'm saying? It was keeping it in your mind and in your heart and on your lips. So if you keep hearing it,
Muted.
but you thinking, aren't you?
Right.
So that means that you gonna live a certain way. Certain things you not gonna do.
Okay, so it's Maranatha,
Because he
not
coming.
marinara. For the people that are out there, it's not marinara, it's Marafter. Okay? Marafter.
And it ain't no joke. This thing is serious. Serious.
Yeah, I'm actually being serious. It's not, it's Maranatha. So, you telling somebody, God's coming? Maranatha. So, you know what I'm saying?
So whatever we ain't been doing, we better start doing.
That's what he's saying.
That goes for me too. Whatever I ain't.
That's why I say it's a warning order.
Yeah,
it's a warning order. He's giving us a chance. This is grace and mercy.
Get it right.
This is grace and mercy. Some people didn't get grace and mercy because they left him.
Right.
Where that goes?
They can say what you want, but Corona took a whole lot of folk out of here. Some people were tested and they died with Corona. Because everybody ain't been tested. Think about that. They only testing people that got symptoms. If you don't have no symptoms, they're not testing you.
If you ain't got no what?
If you don't have a symptom of Corona, they don't test you.
Right.
Okay. Do with me you don't have.
Unmuted.
But they also are testing people that don't actually have it, but they're just saying you have it.
Yeah, if you got the symptoms, they give you a test. It's just like the people that have made this pill, where people that got HIV, they take the pill and then it don't show up on the test no more. They still got HIV.
Right.
This lady told me today at my mama's dialysis place that there is a testing place in Markham now. I live in Markham. So she was saying that they finally have some place, to test in Markham. And I'm not going to go get. Look, I'm just standing on my Father in heaven's word that no plague shall come nigh my dwelling, that he's given the angels charge over me to protect me and to keep me. I'm not running around here doing this and doing that. I don't have no symptoms, I'm just believing that he is protecting me, that he is keeping me from any hurt, harm, or danger, anything, I just believe that with everything in me. If I start showing symptoms, that's something different, but I don't believe that I ever will. Because I really and truly believe, and I got that much faith, that he is not going to allow me or I ain't gonna say my family, because family ain't, every one of my family members is ain't all on living right. So I can't say that my family members won't be subjected to it. I can't say that they won't catch it. I pray for them. I ask him to, cover them. I cover them with blood. I ask him to protect them and to keep them. But whatever his will is, it's going to be done. But I still believe with everything in me, I ain't finna catch nothing.
See,
I just believe that.
The thing about it is that this thing, it ain't just one coronavirus. That's what see, what people don't understand, it ain't just one coronavirus. It's several coronaviruses. And they just say coronavirus. It ain't just one thing. It's more than one thing, but it's got the same name.
But it just shut the whole world down. That's what's tripping me out. The whole world is shut down.
Yep.
That's good. That's deep.
And think about
That's
this.
really deep.
And think about this. For the short time it's been shut down, it's a surplus of oil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, ain't that something? I got gas for $1.53 yesterday. You believe that?
Yeah, believe it. Because it's a surplus of oil everywhere. So OPEC agreed to slow down production because
ain't nobody traveling.
Facts.
Ain't nobody buying gas.
you see that? So that tell you people was really staying home.
Yeah. But okay, I can understand that the gas prices is down now because people ain't traveling. But makes me think, should gas have really ever been as high as it was?
No, that was people making money.
Yeah. Definitely making money.
That was people making money.
And that's all it's
I
about
saw the
anyways.
guy in the car.
Making money.
Gas was a quarter a gallon.
Yeah, when we were coming up. It sure was. When I was coming up, when I first started driving, it was a quarter. So we telling our age, but that's all right. I ain't saying